Hi there. I'm George Hoge. I'm one of the managing members of Business English Conversation. Today I want to talk to you about a very unpopular, uncomfortable subject, being fired. And yes, the title of this video is really Being Fired, an Opportunity. I want to talk to you about the opportunity of being fired. First off, make sure we understand I'm talking about performance-related firing. Employee could not do the job or would not do the job. I'm not talking about violation of rules or anything like that, just performance type firings. Have you ever been fired? It's not much fun, is it? It's absolutely terrible. It's a blow to your confidence, your ego, your self-worth. You worry greatly about what's in the future, what's next. It ain't much fun. On the other side, as a manager, have you ever fired anybody? I'll tell you what, that's not much fun either. It's a great disappointment, and there's a guilty feeling when you have to fire somebody. And at the same time, there's a concern about the future. Where am I going to find another person to fill this job? And a qualified person that I don't make a mistake in getting the wrong person again. So it's not an easy process. I'm going to tell you there are some key mistakes that are made when someone gets fired on both the employee side and the manager side. Let's talk about the employee, the person who got fired. In the very beginning, let's go back to the very beginning, the interview process, when this person interviewed for a job. Think about some of the mistakes that the employee might have made. One, how about overestimating one's skills? Overestimating one's accomplishments. Interesting thoughts, huh? Self-evaluation time. Another one, key mistake. A lot of employees don't ask enough questions. So they walk out of the interview and they don't really know what the performance objectives are for this job. They don't know what the goals are for the job, or maybe even the company or the department or the organization. They don't understand the timetables. How quickly do things have to be done? How much time have I got to accomplish these things? In other words, what were the real expectations of this job? Too many times people don't ask those questions in the interview. And then another one that I really hate, and we'll talk more in another video about this, is an employee not committing to the job. These people who don't like the job, or I'm overqualified for this job. Well, that's a dangerous thought. That's a mistake, because that can run in the future down to potentially getting fired. How about on the manager side? What kind of mistakes do managers make? Interesting, huh? I fire somebody and I made a mistake? You got to be kidding me. Well, I did. Right off the bat, I probably didn't ask the right questions in the interview process. I didn't dig deep enough to really understand and be comfortable that the person had the skills, the knowledge, the experience, the training, the education to do this job. I didn't do a very good job of investigating that as I was talking to them, or I look at their resume. In other words, I didn't ask the right questions, or I forgot to ask some of the key questions. Another mistake, not assessing the mental or emotional attitude of the person. Now this, I'll admit to you, that's hard to do in an interview, but it can be done very quickly as soon as the person's on the job. And the other key mistake in the interview process by a manager, back to what the employee should ask, even if they don't ask, make sure they understand right up front. Here's the performance objectives. Here's the goals. Here's the time frames. Here's what's expected. Here's the expectations of this job. Okay, so we talk about mistakes. So what's the opportunity in being fired? Well, let's look at the positive side of all of this. I'm a very optimistic person, so there's not much that I can't find, even if it goes wrong, that there's a positive. There's something to be learned at least, and that's the key. So as an employee, what's the positive? What do we learn? Or what should we do about it? If you've been fired, the very first thing you need to do after you get over the frustration, the anger, and all of those other emotional things is do a complete and thorough self-evaluation. Take a look at yourself. You can bring somebody else, a spouse, a close friend, in later to do the same type of thing for you, to help you understand yourself. But take a good look at yourself. You know, be honest. Be completely honest. Be objective. Be tough on yourself. Do I have, or what are my skills? What really are my skills? What do I know how to do? On the other side, what do I not know how to do? Be prepared for the next interview. Do that self-evaluation. Be sure you know what your skills are and what your shortcomings are. And by all means, when you get into the interview, don't tell somebody you know how to do something that you don't know how to do. Don't tell somebody that you have experience doing something that you don't have experience doing. Be comfortable with yourself, with what you know, what you are, how good you are, but also be comfortable in the fact that there's some things that you ain't so good at or you don't know anything about. Okay? Be prepared when you go into the interview and ask those questions. Ask the right questions. Be sure you know what all of the expectations are, what the timetables are, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, from a management standpoint, what's the positive? Well, the positive here is just like the employee. As a manager, I better take a look at my interviewing skills because I must have missed something. I didn't ask the right questions. I didn't draw from the employee the information I needed to make a real assessment to their skills, their knowledge, their education, experience, and so on and so on and so on. All right? Also, maybe I failed to lay out the expectations totally so this person understood this is what has to be done. This is the time frame it has to be done. This is the objectives that you're working towards, and here's the goals I'm going to be looking for. Got to do that up front. Make sure that the two of you are on the same page on that one. Tell you another thing, another positive, or another thing to look at here is, as a manager, how about my training program? How good a job did we do in helping this person do the job, accomplish what had to be accomplished, with the understanding that maybe they have some skills and experience and knowledge in the general category of our job, but they don't understand our business, they don't understand our industry, they don't understand our reports, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe our training program needs to be taken a look at. Maybe there's something wrong there. Maybe I, as a manager, need to be more involved in that training program to be sure that these employees are progressing the way they should be. What are the benchmarks? It's another one. If I set benchmarks for myself and for the employee to know what should be accomplished end of a month, into 3 months, into 6 months, whatever. Okay? I'm going to stop here on this particular subject, but I have a follow-up video on the same topic, having to do with being fired, having to do with the assessment by the employee and the manager. There's something else I want to say about this whole subject, something I just touched on, and you probably didn't even catch it, but another full video on that subject. So keep watching for my next video. By the way, our Business English Conversation lesson set program does help address some of the issues that I presented here today. We got about 4 or 5 lessons that deal directly with getting a job, interviewing, resumes, all that kind of stuff. We got another 6 or so lessons that address improving your knowledge to help improve your career. And then another, 4 to 6 lessons that are aimed directly at broadening your business knowledge and setting your career goals. So if you're interested in that program, it's a 16 lesson set program, total of 64 lessons altogether. Just go to businessenglish.com and you can order it, pay for it over a 4-month period of time. And it's a pretty good program, we think. By the way, please leave a note. Let us know what you thought of this video, because we're going to keep doing them. But I'd like to make sure that we're doing the right things and that we're hitting on some of the right topics. So leave us a note. You got a question or you got a comment you don't want to leave on YouTube or one of those places, send an email. Send us an email at info at businessenglishconversations.com. And if it's a question or a comment, send it on. I'll send you an answer, I promise. So for now, so long, and get ready for phase 2 of this same topic, next video, coming up soon.